Welcome back to BadAudiobooks on the TMBC network and brought to you by our beautiful supporters on Patreon. I'm Nick Mazmanian along with my co-host,
Ken Heidelman. Thank you for joining us today on our parody show about good books read badly. So what is coming off the shelf today?
We are digging deeper into the Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales, the Barnes & Noble edition that you and I both just have. We just do it. We have the same copy, so it's
convenient.
Quaint. It's kind of cute when we sit here together at your desk.
Turn to page 646.
Oh shit, I didn't read the pages last night. I'm going to fail.
You didn't study? The exam's right now.
Pop quiz, hot shot. All right, so we're going to be doing today the story of Sleeping Beauty, but we're not going to be doing it. We're going to be reading it. I need more coffee. So, without further...
As is always the case with you, it seems.
Well, you know, when you're a parent, you pretty much just have an IV drip. Your blood is pure caffeine.
I have had only one cup of coffee in my entire life, and it was...
Is that all that fuels you now? Is that like the steam?
Is that single cup. One time, and it was an infusion of coffee beans into an alcohol beverage. Not like a whiskey thing, but a...
So it wasn't Irish coffee?
It was not an Irish coffee. It was just like, they're like, oh, this is infused from a coffee beans.
Oh my god!
And it's gonna have a nice. It was okay.
Some hipstery stuff.
But that is officially, I would say, the only cup of coffee that I've ever had, because that tastes abhorrent to me. I've just pushed away half of our half. What am I saying?
Half.
98% of our.
Sir,
listeners.
you've split this podcast in twain. I have to leave.
In twain.
Well, I'm just using the wordage that we're reading from these books. Oh, Grimm's Fairy Tales. All right,
let's jump in.
Yep. All right.
For the listeners that don't drink coffee, let's move forward.
There we go. A long time ago, there was a king and queen who said every day,
"Ah, if only we had a child."
Oh, we should have said that together. Damn it.
Ah, you're right.
Okay, you want to try?
One more time.
Okay.
Ah, if only we had a child.
But they never had one. But it happened that once when the queen was bathing, a frog.
No, we never had one. But then it did happen.
But wait, we're about to. Hang on, let me back up from the mic. I'm getting some peeking. But we're about to find out why. Okay, a frog crept out of the water onto the land and said to her,
"Your wish shall be fulfilled. Before the year has gone by, you shall have a daughter."
What the frog had said came true. And let's not question that there was a frog in her bathtub. I'm assuming she was in a bathtub? I don't know. And the queen had a little girl.
Oh, as well, the queen was bathing. God, I was like, where are you getting the bathtub from?
Yeah. Unless she's bathing in a pond.
Bathing in the pond, I think. This is what's happening. This is where royalty bathed back then. The fucking dirty moat around the castle.
Only the prettiest and privatest of ponds. Okay,
that's people coming by on horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Majesty,
You got a daughter? We'll give you one.
please leave me be. What the frog had said came true, and the queen had a little girl who was so pretty that the king could not contain himself for joy, and ordered a great feast. He invited not only his kindred, friends, and acquaintances, but also the wise women, in order that they might be kind and well-disposed towards the child.
I don't like wise women being capitalized. It makes me nervous for what's about to happen.
Get ready for those wise women to come back. They were 13 of them in his whole kingdom. In his whole kingdom, he had 13 people.
Foreshadowing.
But as he had only 12 golden plates for them to eat out of, one of them had to be left at home.
Fucking called it.
The feast had...
Have you left it home?
Yeah.
You can't even come to the party?
Nope. That pottery barn closed.
King, and I only have 12 plates, and I can't possibly fix this situation.
I don't have enough coupons for Bed Bath & Beyond to fix this problem. The feast was held... Go ahead.
No, I'm just imagining at the gate. I'm sorry, but you RSVP'd and we accepted, but the 12 people came before you, so we're at maximum capacity. He's a
first come, first serve.
He's a security guard at a club. Like,
your name's not on the list, but
sorry,
clearly it is.
Sorry, we got too many people.
But my name's on the list.
He is, yeah. My name's on the list. I'm sorry, I can't do anything.
The feast was held with all manner of splendor, and when it came to an end, the wise women bestowed their magic gifts upon the baby. One gave virtue.
Here's some virtue.
One gave another beauty.
You look great.
A third riches. And
I don't know.
make it rain.
There you go.
And so on with everything in the world that one can wish for. When 11 of them had made
some shitty writing.
Yeah, well, there's
Why not have 4 then? And then 1 was left out.
We just
You're just like bailing on the
whatever that gift was going to be.
The editing and the things that they choose to like really delve into, and they're like, well, what else you got? What other cool gifts there? I want to hear that shit. And they're like, no, but let's repeat ourselves 10 times about the same dialogue and the same song.
We're not singing the song from Cinderella again. I'm never singing that song ever again.
I've already forgotten it, and now you've made me remember it.
No, please. Let's just move on. When 11 of them had made their promises, suddenly the 13th came in. She wished to avenge herself for not having been invited.
I'm the 12th, and I still need to give my gift.
13th.
When the 11th one.
Oh.
We skipped the 12th. Uh-huh.
What?
They totally skipped the 12th person.
They were mid-sentence. And for you, my darling, I will
there you
give.
Go. Yeah, maybe,
and then that's when the doors
maybe everyone's
crashed.
like, well, duh. The 12th one was just talking, so it was super climactic.
Yeah. So she wished to avenge herself, and without greeting, and even looking at anyone, she cried with a loud voice.
The king's daughter shall, in her 5th year, prick herself with a spindle.
Let's say 5th year?
You said 5th. It's 15th.
The king's daughter shall, in her 15th year, prick herself with a spindle and fall down dead.
And without saying another word more, she turned around and left the room. That's a mic drop. They were all shocked, but the 12th.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're back. We're back at the 12th. Whose
all right.
Whose good wish still remained unspoken. Came forward, and she could not undo the evil sentence, but only softened it. She said,
You do that one.
Oh, I was about to say I could jump in on that. It shall not be death, but a deep sleep for 100 years, into which the princess shall fall. The king, who would fain keep his dear child from the misfortune,
Whew, that was a rough sentence.
gave orders that every spindle in the whole kingdom should be burnt. They just
Burn it! Burn the spindles!
So the thing is that they just wove all their clothes for the next 15 years. They didn't do any kind of like they bought all their
How
clothes
did
from
we
afar.
stay in the Dark Ages for so long? I have no idea. Burn the town! There's a witch! Burn the livestock!
Stop all technology.
Regression!
All right. Meanwhile, the gifts of the wise women were
I've never heard this word.
plenteously fulfilled on the young girl. For she was so beautiful, modest, good-natured, and wise.
Some other gifts that we didn't get to hear.
But those are the things that she had. She had virtue, beauty, and riches.
That's no modest.
Oh, well, modesty obviously comes with royalty. Clearly, that's
What?
a DNA thing.
Okay, I don't think that so, but keep going.
But anyway, for she was so beautiful, modest, good-natured, and wise, that everyone who saw her was bound to love her.
I must love you! I am bound!
I'm good. Thanks.
No,
I'm good.
another,
I'm good.
another.
I'm getting really tired. This is like the 50th time.
I love you so much!
We're good. It happened on that very day when I can't read. It happened on that very day when she was 15 years old. The king
15. Sweet 6.
No,
Okay.
no. I'm gonna leave you there. Sorry. The king and queen were not at home, and the maiden was left in the palace quite alone. Mm-hmm.
What?
Okay. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
We gotta go. We have another appointment this day that is your birthday. Clearly,
If the princess is getting ditched on her birthday, everyone else is completely just boned.
Well, here's the thing. It's just like we have an agricultural meeting we have to make it to, darling. We've been picking
I've got
this
to
thing out
burn
for
the
months.
fields again. You know how it is.
So she went around into all sorts of places, looked into rooms and bedchambers just as she liked, and at last came to an old tower.
Can you imagine, like,
It's
my birthday. I must see into your room because I like it.
No. It's I get to go wherever I want. I'm a princess on my birthday, and I'm alone.
Show me your room. I don't want to. It's my birthday.
I order you to show me a room.
Okay, I'm done.
She climbed up the narrow staircase. She climbed up the narrow, winding staircase and reached a little door. A rusty key was in the lock.
You skipped the old tower.
No, I said the old tower.
Did you?
Yes.
I skipped the part of paying attention.
Mm-hmm. And
Keep
here
going.
we are. For the listeners at home, thank you for listening to me as I read this book. A rusty key was in the lock, and when she turned,
Rusty.
yeah, it's so rusty. And when she turned it, truly the culprit in this story is tetanus. And when she turned it, the door sprang open.
Tetanus will be thy death. I curse you with tetanus.
Well, thank God we live in the anti-vaxxing nation of wherever this is.
Uh-oh. Political.
Sorry. Anyway.
How is saving yourself from disease
Seriously,
and pestilence
I do wonder.
political?
I do wonder that. It's like, how's that a political? Go get a shot, save your life, save your child some grief. It just helps a little bit. Anyway,
The far right, the far left, blah, 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 blah.
let's just get back onto the story about this woman exploring her house for the first time and see what happens.
So for those of you that don't drink coffee and do vaccinate, this story is for you.
You're bringing them all back. There you go. They're gone. They've already turned it off.
They're gone.
Anyway, and there in the little room sat an old woman with a spindle, busily spinning her flax. Okay, it's me.
You could do that.
Yeah, I could do that.
You can do the better.
Good day, old dame. Wait, that sounds old lady. Hang on. Good day, old dame, said the king's
15?
daughter. Well, she could be Kathleen. She could be the Kathleen Turner
Okay.
of this
I like
century.
that. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Do you want me to call shit on your voices? Okay, sure. What are you doing there?
I am spinning.
Really? Just screaming like that?
That's the voice I did for her earlier. We all know this old woman's going to be.
You don't know who this lady is.
Okay.
We don't know. The writing here is so superb. And clear, said the old woman, and nodded her head.
What sort of...
Oh, is
No,
this
that's
me?
yours. Yeah, it's funny. You have to jump ahead to go, wait, whose line is this?
Oh my God. Formatting. Thank God for modern formatting in books.
Well, no.
What?
Well, sometimes,
What
sometimes you have to just jump to see who read it, said blah, 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 blah.
Well, they don't usually. I mean, they do sandwich dialogue in between two different
Yeah,
characters
that's
on a
true.
paragraph, but they make it really clear.
You're
who's
right,
speaking.
yeah, because it's a new paragraph.
Yeah,
Just
usually
even
it's a new
line.
paragraph, or if it's in the same paragraph, it's usually very, very clear.
You're right, yeah.
So anyway, what sort of thing is that rattles around so merrily? Said the girl. She sounds kind of psychotic in the way I say it. And she took the spindle and wanted to spin too. It's a spin class. She scarcely
Wait to spin.
She's never seen a wheel. She's never seen a wheel.
Oh, you're right.
this girl's
is it? I'm so entranced. Ah.
But scarcely had she touched the spindle when the magic decree was fulfilled, and she pricked her finger with it.
The tetanus.
And in that very moment she felt the prick. She felt down upon the bed that stood there
Conveniently.
and lay in a deep sleep. So this woman was sitting inside this room for 15 years waiting for this exact moment. Because the bed was it's like all covered in dust. So as soon as she hits it, it's like flour just shooting up from the ground.
Is it like a self-fulfilling prophecy that she's like,
I called it. The long con.
she just has like it poisoned the spindle, and she's like,
I saw it.
I made it happen. Don't dream.
You don't think the
Goals
king
are
and queen would be guarding her this like on only
They're already
the
gone.
one yeah, exactly. You think that like there's only one day that you've had this proclamation happen and you decide that you shouldn't be there to guard her? Wouldn't you be like, I don't give a shit 364 days?
Maybe they got into a really bad fight the other day about curfews and stuff. Maybe they're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Forget it. I'm done.
I'm almost 15. Let me be.
Whatever.
I want to see the spindles, Father.
Okay, fine. Go explore the castle. See if I care. I got to go to a pub.
and burn it. Get drunk and burn it at the end.
Here's your tab, sir.
I don't think I'll be paying that bill.
But you drank it all,
With-
sir.
But I will pay it with fire.
No! And this sleep extended over the whole palace. The king and queen, who had just come home.
That escalated.
Damn, that's a big AoE. And the king and queen, who had just come home, had entered the great hall, began to go to sleep, and the whole court with them. The horses, too, went to sleep in the stable, the dogs in the yard, the pigeons on the roof, the moles in the ground, the flies on the wall. I added the moles part. Even the fire that was flaming on the hearth became quiet and slept. The roasted meat left off frizzling, and the cook, who was just going to pull the hair off of the scullery boy because he had forgotten something, let him go and went to sleep.
Yeah.
And the wind fell, and the trees before the castle, not a leaf moved again. Wow.
That spell needs to be nerfed.
Damn. Oh, pow. It's OP. Everyone's rolling spindle. Stop rolling spindles. We need
Roll save against spindle.
My knowledge of woodworking will save us in this. No way, it wouldn't be woodworking because it's a spindle. Anyway, no, let's just move on.
It's a wood wheel.
Oh, you know. I try to think of the construction of it, but whatever. But round about the castle there began to grow a hedge of thorns, which every year became higher, and at last grew close up around the castle and all over it, so that there was nothing of it to be seen, not even the flag upon the roof. Whoa, that's some intense gardening that needs to happen. Get some Roundup for that. That'll definitely kill all those plants along with everybody inside. But the story of the beautiful sleeping Briar Rose, so the princess was named, since she never had a name. We never heard this name. No one named her.
I'm flipping back.
There was no name for her. She's just the princess.
Fuck, you're right.
So she just became
So
Briar Rose.
she is Briar Rose.
Yeah.
She's not Aurora in the Disney version yet.
It's like Dark Phoenix, you know. It's just another part of her personality that comes out after she wakes up.
I'm Briar Rose now. I've slept for centuries and my power has grown. The tetanus is flowing through me.
With the ability to cast Lockjaw on anyone she sees.
Ooh.
So
we're making this too cool.
Are we? Are we?
We're elevating it, I think, a lot.
I feel like that spell is actually really cool.
The way it was described, honestly, I enjoyed it.
That was actually the first thing I've read in this book that I went, that's actually pretty fucking cool.
It was exactly, I had the same feeling.
I was
like, the first time.
Yeah.
One paragraph.
One well-written paragraph, and that was full of cohesion. But the story...
Someone must have accidentally edited it. I'm sorry, I just stared at it long enough, and it was horrible. It was terrible.
They looked at the Google Translate and were like, we need to fix this up a little bit. Everything else, forget about it, though. All right. So the princess was named, went about the country so that from time to time, kings' sons came and tried to get through the thorny hedge into the castle.
Wait, I'm really confused.
So went about...
the story.
Yes.
Very long gap, went
Yes.
about the country.
They didn't say that part, but yes.
No, they said it, but the story of the beautiful, and then they added a bunch of shit. Really terrible long sentence.
And now I feel like this is just an allegory for trying to, have relations. And but they found it impossible, for the thorns held fast together, as if they had hands, and the youths were caught in them, could not get loose again, and died a miserable death.
What the fuck? So there's skeletons and rotting corpses lining
these young men just wanted to
bushes.
These young men just wanted to bone, but they were denied.
I can't imagine. It's like the Homer Simpson GIF, how you pronounce it. And
when he's going
back into the bushes, but then it stops halfway and then just starts rotting. Please help me. It'd have to be sticking into their flesh.
Some parts of this are actually really cool. I really wish
that's actually not bad. I'm fine with that.
the thorn thing, that's neat. So anyway, after long years, a king. Damn it! That's how it's written, but my brain's having a trouble trying to translate that. After long years, a king's son came again to that country and heard an old man talking about the thorn hedge.
There's a thorn hedge,
and that a castle was said to stand behind it, in which a wonderfully beautiful princess named Briar Rose had been asleep for 100 years, and that the king and queen and the whole court were asleep likewise. He had heard, too, from his grandfather that many kings' sons had already come and had tried to get through the thorny hedge, and they had remained sticking in it fast and had died a painful death. A pitiful death.
Like, in the
I know,
three pages that we've read, do we need a recap?
No, this is just typical for this book's translation right now. They just keep repeating. But, of course, it might be true to the whole story. Maybe they did a lot of repetitious stuff because it was meant to be an oral story or something.
I don't know how to read, and then just don't forget all these things happened.
How much do you want to bet there's just an old man they interviewed, and he's just kind of making things up, and he's like, and then this, and this,
and then this happened, and then all the thorns.
And then one of the guys like, guy, I don't think he actually knows what he's talking about.
Can I go?
Shh.
I want to go home.
You don't know what you're talking about. He's genius.
Anyway. Pitiful death. Then the youth said, I am not afraid. Hang on. Do you want me to be the youth, or do you want to do it? Because I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not afraid. I will go and see the beautiful Briar Rose.
The good old man might dissuade him as he would. He did not listen to his words.
I'm not listening to your words.
By the time the 100 years had just passed, and the day had come when Briar Rose was to awake again. Wait a minute.
I want to back up.
Yeah. Hold up.
I'm going to tell you this long story about, you know what's in that castle? Oh, man, all the things. Oh, this girl who's just been asleep for 100 years. The court, all the farm animals, all the buildings, everything's all exposed. Oh, yeah, I think I'm going to go check it out. No, don't do that. Like, why are you telling me about it then?
Hey, guess what? She wakes up tomorrow, and it doesn't really matter what you're about to do. That's what
God.
That's what they just said right here. So, when the king's son came near to the thorn hedge, it was nothing but large and beautiful flowers, which parted from each other of their own accord and let him pass unhurt. Then they closed again behind him like a hedge.
The fuck?
That's just what hedges do. Hedge is gonna hedge. In the castle yard, he saw the horses and the spotted hounds lying asleep. On the roof sat the pigeons with their heads under their wings. And when he entered the house, the flies were asleep upon the wall. The cook in the kitchen was still holding out his hand to seize the boy, and the maid was sitting by the black hen, which she was going to pluck. He went on further, and in the great hall he saw the whole court lying asleep. Upon their throne lay the king and queen. Then he went on further still further, and all was quiet, that a breath could be heard, and yet last he came to the tower, opened the door into the little room where Briar Rose was sleeping.
Okay, now we're
getting to the fruit. There we go.
Well, no, I mean, actually, I really enjoyed that part. That's why I was shutting up there for a second, but now I'm getting to the... I'm really kind of terrified for how the original is going to handle the...
We're going to see.
I mean, the situation's already a little non-consenty.
Oh, it's going to be a Me Too story. Just wait.
Here we go.
There she lay, so beautiful that he could not turn his eyes away. And he stooped down and gave her a kiss. But as soon as he kissed her, Briar Rose opened her eyes and awoke and looked at him quite sweetly.
Who wants to wake up to that?
It's just
straight. And remember, the last thing she remembers was it's her birthday.
Yeah. She's
She's hanging out in a tower.
Yeah.
And now she's waking up not knowing how she got there. And a guy's on top of her kissing her.
Move forward.
Ooh,
Gross.
and then they went down together.
This is a romantic story that everyone loves?
Yeah.
I love the name Aurora. That's about it. I could take away from the story.
Okay.
All that cool shit. That
And
walking through thorns.
And then they went down together, and the king awoke, and the queen and the whole court looked at each other in great astonishment. And the horses in the courtyard stood up and shook themselves, and the hounds jumped up and wagged their tails. The pigeons upon the roof pulled out their heads from under their wings.
Yeah, I did it. I said I was going to do it, and I did it. It's so easy. The thorns just part for you.
Here's the thing. There was no instruction saying he had to kiss her to wake her up.
I could have shook her hand. He could have just been like, hey, wake up.
Yeah, he could have just been like, are you okay? And like touch her
Clearly
shoulder.
it was working out.
Yeah. He was just, no. He was like, ooh, she's asleep, you say.
I can't help myself.
Oh, no.
Did you see the way she was sleeping? If she didn't sleep that way, she was asking for it. Why would she sleep that way if she doesn't want to be kissed?
Oh, my God. and wagged their hang on. The hounds jumped up and wagged their tails. The pigeons on the roof pulled their heads out on their wings, looked around, and flew into the open country, in which they were promptly eaten by a vulture. The flies on the wall crept again, and the fire in the kitchen burned up and flickered and cooked the meat. The joint began to turn and frizzle again, and the cook gave the boy such a box on the ear that he screamed, and the maid plucked the fowl ready for the spit. And then the marriage of the king's
corporal punishment.
Yeah, that's how you rear children. And then the marriage of the king's son with Briar Rose was celebrated with all splendor, and they lived contented, and then they lived contented to the end of their days. What the
Happy birthday! I'm just waking up. Some guy's on top of me and kissing, and now I'm getting married. Sorry, hello? I'm not even Briar Rose. I'm not even Sleeping Beauty. That's not my name. You don't know what it is. No one knows what it is. But now I'm getting forced to be married.
This book, that story is just full of assumptions all the way through. Because for some reason, why did the roses part for him? Why did they not they didn't do it for anybody else? There was nothing, what?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm looking back and being like, yep, no.
There's nothing. There's no instruction about how to wake her up from this sleep. There's nothing. This story is. I like the Cinderella version from Disney better, personally, but this is another one of those where we maybe.
This isn't Cinderella. This is Sleeping Beauty.
I like the story from Sleeping Beauty better.
That if we had video of it, that's the watching people die inside moment.
I know the story that we
I
read.
know words. I know stories.
I have read it. How dare you repeat the title correctly to me? How dare you?
We both did it all day today.
I know.
Oh, we got to read the. I can't wait to read Cinderella. No, we already did that one. No, I meant. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so that one was.
There was some really actually.
The imagery was cool.
The imagery was really cool,
and the way that spell worked was actually really cool too.
Yeah, exactly. That was interesting parts, but no character development.
Oh no, none. These stories, I don't even understand what the moral of that one is. Someday my prince will come.
Absolutely no moral to that.
Someday my prince will come is the only thing I could think
of.
No.
There's a moral.
What?
Always have at least 13 plates for a dinner party. That's it.
Make sure you get a full set for everybody coming, plus one.
Plus one.
Yeah. So when you're registering for your wedding, be sure to do that, folks.
Get your 13-sided table ready to go.
So much luck in that house.
Exactly. You've got a book, don't you, there, Nicholas?
I do.
Are you Nicholas? I call you Nick and Maz, but
Nick is the title of the book. The title of the book.
Nick, it's a self-titled book. I'm the main character, and
it's autobiography.
But there's a lot of fictionalized versions that are pretty cool. I killed some assassins. You know how it is.
I saved the world at the end. It's just small things. Anyway, so I wrote a book called Margot Flint and the Last Soldier. It's written by me, Nick Mazmanian. You can find it on Amazon. It is a young adult science fiction story about adventure and maps and the far future, and
Ooh.
I hope you like it.
Is
and
it,
robots.
Is
it has
it in
robots.
Print or is it digital? Or is
it's
it
both. It's both.
Ooh,
And I'm
both.
working currently on the audiobook of my book.
I'm going to be cast for sure.
Oh yeah, no. Me and you're going to read it. No, we're not. We're not going to read it. I'm actually having a professional actress read that book.
Oh, what are you saying exactly?
I'm saying we're not professional actresses.
One day.
No. So, Kent, I heard you made a comic.
I did make a comic. Thank you.
Really?
Thank you so much for asking.
Oh man,
I appreciate it.
I just heard it through the grapevine, known as Instagram.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's called Scariest and Screamforth. I am the writer and artist of it, and the creator. I did all the things, and it's a spooky, cute young adult story about three kids in a monster town trying to solve a mystery. They themselves, those three kids, are monsters, and so it's a fun little adventure.
It's really fun.
Thanks,
I
man.
read it. It's very good.
I appreciate it. So
Highly
you can go check that
recommend
out. You can go to read it for free at scariestandscreamforth.com. That's pretty much it. Yeah, go check it out. Hey, Nick.
Yeah?
I've heard you got a nice little company there that you make stuff. What's
Yes.
that about?
Oh, yes. I'm so glad you brought it up. So, organically, my wife and I have a company called Renegade Goods where we do customized laser goods. And we do a wide variety of book-related products like genre dividers and other genre dividers and
Keychains.
and keychains and leather goods and
Yeah,
acrylic
cool little leather
things.
strap stuff.
Actually, we just
You're underselling it. You're
Well-
doing some cool shit.
Well, yeah, thank you. We also do custom work for anybody who's looking to make merchandise or if you want to make a fun gift. We recently just put up a small little plant stand for your desk that's made of a clear acrylic.
Ooh.
Amber made it. I am very proud of it.
Amber's your wife.
Yes, Amber is my wife.
That's awesome. Where can the good people find it?
They can find it at renegadegoods.com or on Etsy. It's Renegade Goods Store, I believe. And I don't know my Etsy store name. And we would really like to thank.
I'm gonna.
Oh, you're gonna go. We're going right now.
Yeah, I don't want to. I
Well,
don't want a bad link.
Well,
Go to
let's
the shop
cut. We'll cut to this chase.
Renegade
Renegade Goods Shop
on Etsy.
on Etsy.
Yeah, go check them out.
All right, and then we would like to thank this show's.
Well, we're part of a cool podcast
There
network,
you go.
another video and all sorts of stuff network, and it's called TMBC Network. You can check out the flagship podcast. That might be cool. Jason Hammonds is the host of that, and with all sorts of guests. At the moment, he is going through the MCU movies, getting ready for the release of Avengers Endgame. If it's been years since that release, well, still go check it out. It's a cool build-up. He's examining all of them, and at the time, even then when he's recording them, it's already been a while for some of these movies, and you know it's going from a decade / to years / months / weeks since something has been released. So it's an interesting look through.
Well, I mean, just because something's old doesn't mean it isn't worth doing analysis.
Exactly. Grimm's Fairy Tales is a great analysis that we're doing.
An analysis and how we can keep our sanity as we read these books.
Exactly.
Or
But
stories.
the That Might Be Cool podcast, you should definitely go check it out if you like this book. I myself have actually been a guest on one of those things. I was
Hey, look at you.
I've been a guest on there. So go check it
Hey.
out. It's a lot of fun. So if you enjoy listening to me on this podcast and you are not turned off, go check out That Might Be Cool
And
podcast.
also, if you're not turned off about our podcast, we are on Instagram. You can find us at BadAudiobooks, as well as our personal handles. I myself are called at RealHumanMaz.
Cool. So at Real Jimenez. And then for me, Ken Heidelman, I'm at Ken Heidelman. No surprise there, but hey, Instagram's the best one for probably both of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check us out. Follow us there. We are on iTunes, so if you could rate and review us, that always helps the algorithm push it up a little bit more to spread the word to other new people, new listeners.
We really, really appreciate everything you guys do for us, including
Thank you.
review and recommend and just
All that stuff.
helping us out in that front.
You
It's
know the
very
drill there.
helpful.
And then if you want to support the show more directly, you can check out our Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
That's up. That's live, ready to go. There's all sorts of tiers there. You can check those out. We'll get into that in another episodes on what there is. But yeah, I guess quickly we'll do a shout out at your name at the end of the episode. There's a tier for that.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of like little goodies.
And if you have
exclusive episodes.
if you have a voice request for your name, we could try fitting that in. We'll see. But I think we're just.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
My voices are not consistent, and that's half the fun of this.
That's true. All right, we'll just have fun
we
with
could
it.
maybe we'll do funny voices just for everyone that we're reading off, and just it changes every time.
Oh yeah, we could just do that.
We
That
can do
works
that.
out better.
And then yeah, we do exclusive episodes of this podcast for the Patreon only. So yeah, go check those out. That's pretty much it. That's a wrap up. Any other business that we need to?
Nope,
Take it.
nothing I could think of. No.
But yeah, thank you so much for listening, Nick. Why don't you play us out?
And here we go.